What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about today's Fortnite update, and that is going to be that the lock-on pistol was unvaulted. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe, like, see more, and comment down below what you think of the lock-on pistol being unvaulted in Chapter 5. So if you guys didn't play in Chapter 4, this weapon was in Chapter 4 Season 2. It comes in blue rarity. It hits for 25 body damage, and it headshots for 31 damage, and I think it has like a 15-round magazine. The interesting or unique aspect of this weapon, as the name implies, is the lock-on effect, which if you stare at an opponent for long enough, it will start to lock on, and it will eventually lock on up to 4 bullets at a time, which when you start to fire, it will fire those bullets in sequence, and they will hit the target. It can be fired without locking on, though, and it basically has constant first shot accuracy, so the bullets will always go where the dot is. And just some Chapter 5 like interesting aspects of this weapon is that it cannot equip weapons attachments at a mod bench. So that's a question that a lot of players had for like what's going to be coming this season. If they brought back old weapons, will they get attachments? At least in this case, there is no attachments for the lock-on pistol. And it was hit scan in the past, and it's still hit scan, which we'll maybe get to later on in the video. I've had people say it feels projectile. I think that's just because of the way the lock-on effect fires the bullets in sequence, so it kind of like takes time for each bullet to hit, but it's not necessarily that they're traveling to the target, it's just like the space between shots, if that makes any sense. Overall, though, I really don't think this weapon is that good. I think the best uses for the lock-on effect are probably going to be whenever someone's in a bush, because you are able to lock on and shoot them through the bush. Or maybe if someone is like shockwaving, grapple blading, or gliding through the air and you're able to lock on and shoot them, it can be much easier because, like, one, you don't really need to have good aim because the pistol locks on. But two, a lot of the more ranged weapons in Chapter 5, or all of the other ranged weapons in Chapter 5, are projectile. They're not hit scan anymore, so you have to account for like bullet travel time and bullet drop, which is just really scuffed when shooting, you know, people traveling through the air super fast with any of those mobility items. So I think those are like the two best instances for this lock-on pistol to actually be somewhat helpful. I also had a lot of people ask me today when I was streaming if this would be a good counter to the riot shield, because people thought, like, if you lock on, will the bullets go around the shield? And the answer to that is just going to be no. As you'll see here, it doesn't even let me lock onto the shield player if they have the shield out, even if I'm looking at their feet. And if I lock onto them while looking at their back or when they put the shield away, and then they take the shield back out, it just like completely removes the lock on. So there's really not anything special as far as fighting riot shielders goes with the lock on pistol. And I don't think it would really do that better than really any other weapon, because, you know, the two choices you have is either shoot their feet, which you could do with any weapon, or try to spray them out and break their block, which is probably going to work better with other weapons because this pistol doesn't really have the largest magazine size anyways. So I really wouldn't recommend using this weapon. Like, it does have those niche uses like I talked about, but I don't really think those make the lock-on pistol worth using at all. Like, it's nice when you're able to have it and then like someone's in a bush and you can just fry them out of the bush, no problem, but that doesn't happen often enough for me to want to like consistently use this weapon or like recommend this weapon, you know. I think the most interesting thing about this weapon being unvaulted in today's update is just that it answers some questions potentially about how Epic will be treating unvaults in the future, because in Chapter 5 they changed the weapons a lot. Like I talked about, all of the ranged weapons are projectile now. I think the only weapons that aren't are shotguns, and so you have to worry about bullet travel time, bullet drop, and like the opponent moving in relation to those things. And then also we had the weapon attachments added in Chapter 5, and so a lot of people thought that like if we do get unvaulted weapons, they'll have to like rework them to be projectile and to work with the attachments, so it wouldn't really be like how it was before. Or just people were of the mindset that they won't unvault anything from the past because they would have to change it to fit either of those two things. And with the lock-on pistol, they didn't change it at all from how it was before Chapter 5. So it doesn't get attachments, it's not projectile, it's still hit scan. And so in the future, maybe they will unvault old weapons, but those weapons just won't have attachments. But the trade-off will be that they're still hit scan, and that would maybe be one of the balancing acts for the game, where like weapons that get attachments are projectile, weapons that don't get attachments are hit scan. and then you can kind of pick and choose what you want, especially if they do add more like kind of overpowered attachments in the future, or like we've seen augments that interact with those attachments. That would maybe be worth making some of those weapons worthwhile. I also think there's potential that there's not really much to go off because it's only one weapon that they've unvaulted so far, and it's a very unique weapon. Like, this weapon is so different from a lot of the others that maybe they just kind of treated or thought about it differently. So I don't think this really like 100% answers how the future of the game will be, but there was a lot of people saying we won't get any weapons unvaulted from the past in Chapter 5, and that has already been proven to not be true because we got the lock-on pistol today. That is going to be it for this video, though. I'm going to let some gameplay play out that I got on stream using this weapon. As always, if you guys found this helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like. Subscribe if you like some more. Comment down below what you think of the lock-on pistol returning, or kind of like what I talked about with potential old weapons returning and whether or not they will. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. I just had visual audio and someone gliding. Oh, I was not trying to run that bush over. Oh, he just got the medallion. So again, we know right where this player is roughly. It's been a while. I think I didn't notice it right away. Could be good against a grapple blade. If I already had that guy weak. Alright, it does completely counter bushes. Someone just got a bounty on me. I'm assuming that's from Rebel's Roost, because it's like the only POI still in zone. We have 2 opponents remaining. Dang. That was a choke. That was a pretty easy shot to hit. He's got the toasted Cheez-It. Dude, I haven't had Cheez-Its in so long. I think I just saw him right there. GG's. It's like pretty good at shooting people out of the sky like that if they grapple blade or shockwave away, but they have to already be weak like that. When I was shooting that M&M, we only got like 75 damage, so it was no big deal, but that guy was weak enough to where like the lock-on pistol was really good for it.